Alright, welcome back everybody. Thank you for watching another video. So I've had a few people ask me how it is I cut such perfect circles for my coasters. So as you can see, I got 3 of these. I'm going to make 1 more to complete my set. So quick update. So here is the fantastic flannel coasters I'm working on. Then we got some fancy script here for this other one. So those are done. And of course we got kind of like a 4-leaf clover chainmail deal. So I got to make 1 more for this Baroque pattern, and I'm going to show you how I cut them. Alright, before we get started, just to let you know, if you want to purchase any of the tools, including the leather mentioned in this video, make sure you check out the links in the description below. But the leather I'm using is just a simple belly leather that I got from Tandy. You can get these for right around $15. Thickness wise, right around 4 to 6 ounces. And this is what it looks like. It's just veg tan leather. I'm going to stretch this out. And let me see what side I want to use. This side? Yeah, let's start on the other side. So I'm going to show you the cutter, and it's basically like a compass, but it doesn't matter if you're cutting a circle. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's just start right here. But if you're using, stencils like that, or even like a hexagon stencil like this, you would just need a scratch awl, and you trace the designs around it to cut it with a blade. But fortunately, I got this guy right here, and this is essentially how I cut my circles. So this little arm slides out if you need to make a larger diameter. This guy right here, you're gonna punch down, and there's a soft foot that holds it into place. So you got to keep constant pressure down, and we're gonna twist it. There's a blade right there. That's gonna do the cutting. There's also a separate storage compartment for other blades. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit more. I can get right down, kind of in that area. Alright, and this is the step 1 in the process. So we're going to hold this down, right down in that area. Okay, that should do it. I'm going to hold it down, my left hand, and we're just going to turn. You can hear it cutting. And once it stops making that sound, you're gonna know it's through. Oh, here, quiet. Oh. Still a little bit more. Oh, right there. Okay, on the left side. Alright, that sounds. Oh, okay. Maybe 1 more turn. Alright, that's got it. And that's step 1. Alright, let me show you what I'm gonna do next. Alright, the next step I want to do is take away this kind of mushroom effect here, because when you cut, the edges kind of split out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is take this edge beveler and just follow it around to trim off that edge. Edge bevelers basically give your edges a nice finish. So I'm going to come down in here, just kind of take it off like that. And go right around. Alright, you can see a nice little beveled edge now. And I'm just going to turn it around and do the same thing on the bottom. Alright, I got both sides now done with the edge beveler. What I'm going to do now is just get a little bit of water. I'm going to wet this down to make this soft, and I'm going to run it through the embosser. I'll be right back. I'll show you what it's going to look like. Alright, and here is the finished product once running it through the embosser machine I'm using. It's basically the Vagabond 2, and I had to mess around with a couple of pieces of cardstock to get it to the right height. But basically, you can case your leather for different types of project differently. For here, from what I'm doing, all I did was made the top damp and I ran it through. Because if I get it too wet, when it's going through the rollers, it'll stretch it out and it's going to look a little bit maybe uneven sometimes as an oval. And as you can see, it actually compressed a little bit, but not so much that the circle is deformed. But that's how you get the embossing on there. Let's do the edge work next. Alright, before beginning to burnish the edges, we got to smooth that out a little bit. So I normally start with 220 grit paper, and then I'll just start sanding around like this. And then of course I'll go to the 400, sand it down. And then for the coasters, I'll go up to an 800, and then I'll stop. If I was doing like a wallet or something like that, I might get it up to something like 1,000 or 2,000. So let me work on that, and I'll show you what's next. Alright, before getting into the actual wood burnishing, what I want to do is coat the top here with a couple of coats of neat's foot oil, and that's going to make it change color. So I have a little bit on my applicator here, and we're just going to start to rub it in circular motions like that, and just work it around. I'm going to let it sit and dry and probably coat it a few more times, and then I'll be ready to start burnishing the edges, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'll be right back. Alright, so here's what we look like now after about 3 coats of neat's foot oil as compared to that, right? So all I'm doing is using the oil to darken the leather. So they have antiquing oil, which will darken the leather a lot quicker and give you a lot darker result. But what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to do that without potentially dropping the dye all over the place, because I'm going to be doing it inside of a van when I'm on the road, and I don't want to deal with any of that. And neat's foot oil, I think, has been the best performer as compared to like the leather balm, which we're going to be finishing the edges with. Now, the order that I'm doing this in, it doesn't really matter. I prefer to take care of the face first and then do my burnishing on the edges, because I don't want to get any of the product from the edges onto the face, because it's going to cause splotching on the outside. So we're going to take care of these edges next. So we're going to start with a quick water burnish. So just water here, and I'm just going to take my finger and just run it around the side. And then we're going to use a wood burnisher or a wood slicker to kind of shine up those edges. Alright, so once that's done, here's my wood slicker, leather slicker, and I'm going to fit it right down in here. And what this is going to do is shine up the edges, so that instead of it looking bare like that, it'll look like this. It'll have a nice shine and finish to it. And this is the first step. Now I do have a set of Dremel bits coming in, so that I can just put it on the edge of my Dremel or rotary tool, whatever you have, and it makes this process a lot faster. So let me finish this off and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll get the leather balm out and finish up the edges here. Alright, so this is what we look like after the water burnish as compared to an unfinished edge. So next, what we're going to do is finish it up with some leather balm, this product right over here with autumn wax like that. It's neutral colored, and that's what I have on this swab right here. And I'm just going to lightly coat this, just kind of stripe it ever so gently right across there. Down, move it along, keep it going. And then I gotta let it dry for a while, and I'll show you what that looks like after we're done. And then we'll be finished with the edges. And the last step will be kind of sealing the back with some Tokonole, just to make sure that these fuzzies lay down. So let me let this sit. I'll be right back. Alright, looking pretty shiny there compared to where it started off. Look at the difference, right? So beautiful, right? Next step is to seal up the back end, and I'm going to be using Tokonole for this, and you can use whatever you like to, but I noticed it just seems to give it a certain stiffness that I like for my coasters. And sometimes I'll just kind of dip my 2 fingers in here. Some people use spatulas to kind of even it out, but all I'm going to do is just kind of start spreading it around, right, like that. Really massage it in there. Get 2 fingers in here. Start like right in that area. And then what I'm going to do is get my burnisher, my glass burnisher out, and just kind of smash down the edges, just to try to have those fibers lay down all in the same direction. Try to catch the edges here. Right around there. Let's see what cuts. 2 more. There it is down here. Alright, that should be enough. Set. And move this out of the room. I'm just gonna push it out. Switch to the other direction. That way. And then this way. Alright, now that that's done, we just let it sit, and if I feel like I want to darken this up a little bit, maybe I will put one more coat on it. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to let it sit, and then I'll show you what the 4 coasters look like at the ending of the day. Alright guys, so we went from that to something that now looks like that. That is the finished product. Again, we can see how we burnished the sides. Nice polished finish. And that's how you do it. So remember, if you want to purchase anything mentioned in this video, make sure you check out the links in the description below. I haven't listed these for sale yet, but remember, we got this kind of Baroque pattern. We got this fancy script pattern. Like that. Fantastic plaid going on, as well as this crazy 4-leaf kind of chainmail design. Well, alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.